I'm going to get Facebook open so I can see any. Let's see. That's that. And
I do get a kick out of watching the number of votes.
How many votes are we getting?
Well, the first it went up. The first week I think was like 400 votes. The second week was just over 1,000. Next week, third week was over 2,000, and then last week, because we had the really tight IP restriction, it was back down to like 400. But what we're really trying to get to, and we've got this new script we can run, find out what the unique votes are per week. It's around 400.
That's pretty good. Cool. All right, so we are live. Just so I can follow all that. And David Garcia is watching. David, thanks for joining us. And a couple of people, we've had Tim Goddins already said it looks like everything's going well. So Tim, how you doing? Here we go. We got another 3 episodes to go here. But I'm back for the show number 2 for the Negro League Baseball Museum Art Josh Gibson 20 MVP card art competition. We got it right this time, though. The last time it was a tongue twister, completely throw it off.
Actually, Bubba, you dropped in a museum, not a marketplace, but
okay. We've changed it on me. Oh man. All right. Yeah. So maybe by the 4th interview tonight, I will have it correct. But I'm excited. We have a friend of the show, Eric Kimber from Triple Play Designs. Eric, how you doing today?
Great, Jason. It's always a pleasure to be here. Love talking to you guys about art and baseball. It's always a good time. So,
and as you see, I have a co-host today. I have Tad with us, the organizer of everything. Tad, how are you? You're not in Seattle. You're in Spokane.
I'm over in Spokane. Yep, my daughter is graduating today, high school. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in the UK next year or in August.
She will be over in Wales for school this fall. She'll be going to Bangor University. She gets there 1st of September.
All right, and so I'll be seeing you in Edinburgh on the 2nd of September, right? And we'll have those
Let her get established, and so she can show me around a little bit. But I think it'd be really fun to take a trip over there and see if we can't, trace some family roots over in Ireland.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely something like that. So maybe I'll go and jump on a train because it's I think it's about a 6-hour train ride to go see you. So it's like going from Seattle to Spokane. It's no problem. Well, great. You were give us an update on how the competition is going.
Yeah. Well, first of all, there's like there's people to acknowledge. The first 2 are Heavy J, Jason Schwartz, and Mike Smith, Mr. Shake, who have been really running the show of the baseball card art campaign and running everything over on Twitter. So they've been, without them, we wouldn't be nearly as effective, I think, as we're being so far, without a doubt. So thank you to those 2 cats. The campaign has grown significantly. We started off thinking that we were going to do a card a day, which I think was around 40 some cards per day based on when we started. And where we're at now is doubled up on every single day. I think through the end of the campaign, there might be a couple of days left where we still only have 1, but what that means we have room. So we have still been taking on new artists, and it's great. We're actually up over 70 now who are
wow.
participating.
You say 70, you have 71 podcaster. So
right, that's what we actually got. Phil Trigar of Legend Sports has been started doing some webcasting for us as well too. So thank you to Phil as well. And in fact, Phil was very instrumental last night in getting a couple of new judges, celebrity judges. I don't know. I didn't see yet if the guys announced that over on Twitter, but I don't want to spill the beans here, but 2 legends, icons when it comes to Negro League's history. and we're extremely excited to have these guys join us.
The list of judges is insane. I saw who it was. And I was like, oh my gosh. Somebody pulled some serious favors to get the list of judges. I couldn't believe the people involved with this.
That's mostly Jason, honestly. I know the one that got me that I was really excited to see was Greg Proops.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love that guy.
No way.
Absolutely.
See, I don't even know who the judges are. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's been a lot of fun. It's been really cool. I, have been bugging Dave Sims, the Mariners TV play-by-play guy, since we started back in October. He helped us out with the promo for the first campaign, and he's passed on a couple of things, but this one he was really excited to join. So really happy to see that. But this is a campaign that a lot of people are getting behind. I think they see the real opportunity that it would be a shame for, the baseball writers to miss, and Major League Baseball to miss the opportunity to, in one fell swoop, honor not just one man, but, thousands who were his, contemporaries and predecessors. Okay, so the cool news is, this campaign is really marks, I think, a big evolution in the Negro Leagues baseball marketplace community, which is this is our first big pilot campaign using the certificate of authenticity that Eric Kittelberger designed. And so that's really neat. So far, we've issued COAs to 28 different artists, and there's several more in the queue and several more who've yet to submit. So we have 70 total artists in the campaign. Over 28 so far have submitted and been issued the certificates of authenticity. And I'll just say that the estimates from those initial certificates in terms of sales would be generating over $10,000 in revenue for the Josh Gibson Foundation. So that's about a third of our group so far, and if we were to extrapolate that out, this could wind up being a pretty lucrative campaign for the Josh Gibson Foundation. So that's something that I don't think that we expected right off the bat, but that seems to be a recurring theme now. These things just get bigger and bigger as we go. So thanks to guys like Eric, Bubba, you guys.
Thanks, Ted. Appreciate that. It's
really
my
awesome.
pleasure to do all this stuff. So I'm having a blast. So that's all I can say.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. There's going to be a very, very cool press conference held on Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Look for an announcement from the Gibson Foundation. We're going to try and give that a signal boost as soon as we see it. But 11 a.m. Eastern time, there's going to be a very significant press conference. Not the one that we're hoping for yet. Anyway, but it's going to be really cool. There's lots of stuff. Lots of really cool stuff happening right now. I chatted with Sean just really briefly a little bit ago, and he said he had to go get ready for what did he say? He's getting ready to do an audition. He said he had like 5 lines he had to memorize. I don't know what it was. It must have been for the what is it?
Yeah, as a movie, he's
right. What is it?
He's going to be in.
The movie. Oh, I missed this
Oh,
one.
it's the
Completely blanking on the name.
Is it the League of Their Own or
Baseball League?
Yeah.
All
The heck is the
right.
name of the movie?
Oh, that's cool. That's really that's a lot of fun.
Anyway, yeah, he's got a lot of cool stuff happening, and I can tell you that he's grateful for every bit of the support that the community's given him, and it's been really cool. This campaign is a big push to to really, embrace the idea of a whole bunch of small, artists, small businesses trying to contribute and really trying to just, from a simple bookkeeping standpoint, just make sure that all stays true to what's being reported and all of that. But so every day is a learning process, and it's really great. And there's been several cases where it's like, oh, I didn't realize I didn't like that until I saw it. But that's what's really fun. This campaign has been almost every day a new learning experience.
And he's been getting pretty heavily involved with a lot of the social stuff. He's
Killing it.
Yeah, every day, anything I'm posting, he's tagging me back and reposting. And it's like, wow, he's got time to do all this. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that he's doing that with.
No, and one point to make there too to everybody that's watching, especially the artists, is if you're not already connected on LinkedIn, get connected with us, because Sean's doing a really great job there. And the real value to the presence on LinkedIn is that the entire one of the big purposes, I should say, of what we're doing here is to create a platform that shows significant tangible value to potential sponsors. We want those big sponsor dollars to come into these areas of needs in the community, which is the small business community, as well as the Gibson Foundation, the Buck Leonard Association, et cetera, et cetera. So get on LinkedIn, show a presence there as well.
Cool. All right.
I want to now fade back into the cornfield and let's talk to Eric.
Like I said, we've got quite a few people going. All right, when are we talk about Eric? No, Tad, it's always good to get an update of what's going on. I think we haven't spoken in a few weeks there. I was obviously sick last week, and apparently I've gotten my whole family sick. So this is all good. So it's good to catch up, everybody. And I'm glad to see everything progressing the way we want it to, and hopefully it just gets bigger and bigger. Do we still have 3 weeks left for this?
4.
All right, 4 weeks left.
Wow.
All right. So that's all right. So we have a lot to go. So I keep seeing everyone's art, and I'm going, oh man, I don't know what to do. I've already flip-flopped a couple ideas here, and I might just go, I don't have anything there. So
we've actually had one case where somebody changed up his design after he saw somebody else's that was too close to what he was doing.
Yeah, I imagine. I guess that's kind of the hard part is there's only so much you really can do with cards. So you really have to be very creative to do something completely different. So was it Matt's card? I like that. He gave me a sneak preview, which comes out Monday, and I really like what he's done on that one. So, but you know what? We're talking about everyone else, but we're here to talk about Eric. So we obviously know we've had you on the show a few times there, but can you give us a little background about yourself, what your day job is, and how you kind of got involved as well? I mean, we know you from the last one, but there obviously are people who don't know this.
My day job. Well, I've been working triple play design for this might be my 27th year. I used to own the house right around the corner. I had a nice basement studio in there, and we moved kind of back one street over. So now my office is about 1/4 what it was in the basement. So I'm a little room above my garage right now. I worked in a little ad agency in Akron, Ohio, for about 5 years before that. The whole time building up my clientele to finally make the jump. I was working, 9 hours a day at the ad agency, coming home, working till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at night, every night. And it just got to be too much. And finally just said, I got to do this. And I never looked back. I've been going gangbusters ever since. And I don't know how I could ever go back and actually work for somebody anymore. I'm too set in my loner ways, I guess. The only thing I guess you do miss is you can't yell across the cubicles. How do you do this? But Google kind of takes care of that. So if I ever run into any trouble, I just Google it, right? It's like everybody else. So, getting involved with this great group of artists, everybody has the same story. They were contacted through Instagram from Tad last fall, I believe, and did a couple campaigns. I think it's been great for everybody. Everybody's followings have grown. I know mine has gone from like 200 followers on Instagram when Tad contacted me to, I think I'm pushing 1,300 or 1,500 now. So
wow, that's amazing.
I've got to know a lot of great friends all over the country. I haven't personally met them yet, but great relationships over Instagram stuff. And I feel like I really know these guys and gals really well. So I feel very fortunate. If I needed something, I'm sure I could hit anybody up, and they do anything for me, and I do the same for them. So it's a great community, and I feel very blessed and fortunate to have gotten involved with everything. So,
so let's talk about your sports art. When did you start doing your sports art? Because you're not a card artist, you're an illustrator.
Yeah, probably a lot of people in this realm have a similar story, right? When you're a kid, you love to draw and you love baseball, and I draw little googly baseball cartoons and stuff, right? And there's nothing else I really wanted to do with my life. I guess I was okay in school, got good grades, but nothing interested me. I knew from an early point in my life that I was going to be an artist somehow. And even after I graduated from high school, I really didn't know what I was going to do. I latched on at Kent State. They got a great graphic design program there. I had a good experience, had a bad experience there. They have a sophomore review.
Yeah,
process.
exactly. Yeah,
What's that?
You got to spill the beans with that one now.
Yeah, I will.
This isn't the story we've heard yet.
So, no, this is a little story of my Kent State life. So, it's a 4-year program. There's a sophomore portfolio review, and they have a all-day test on a Saturday. So it's like a 3-part test. You do one part and then move on to another part. Well, I failed my sophomore review the first time by, I think you needed like 1.5, however they scored it. And I got like 1.479 or something. I was like 0.3% away from being able to take the next level of classes. So that's when I first started to learn that I needed to work really hard at what I wanted to do. So then the next semester I ended up passing it. So then you take all those next level classes and you get to your junior portfolio review. Well, then you're hanging all your stuff on the wall and you have all the top professors standing around in the room. And I had my illustrations on the wall. I had my design portfolio over on another table. And the illustration professor, he's kind of sitting a couple chairs over from me, and you just see him kind of slinking down in his chair, like. And one of the other guys who started the program, he says, "Eric, I got to be honest with you. I hate your illustration." And you know how you're going to feel when somebody tells you that amongst all these professors, and you got all your work that you've been doing for the past 2 years or whatever it is. And I just felt like, ugh, what am I going to do? Ultimately, say, well, you got some nice design pieces over here. Since you like illustration, we're going to let you just test out some of the senior level illustration class. We'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't go well, then we're not going to let you go on. Well, then that incident really is what drives me even to this day, because in the back of my head, I'm always saying, I'm going to show you. And I hope I have. I mean, I've really said, I'm going to bust my butt and I'm going to learn. And I think I've done okay after that. And coming out of there, that meeting, you're mad, you're upset, you're disappointed. But then the next day I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this get me down. And I'm going to show them. And I did. I made it through. I worked harder than everybody else at school. That's probably how I made it. I don't know if I was as talented, because you get to school and everybody your whole life's telling you how great you are, right? Your family and your friends, oh, you're such a great artist. Well, you get to that level and everybody's the best artist at their school. And there's some dynamite artists that I went to school with. And I just had to outwork them if I wanted to compete with them. And I did. So here I am today, drawing Josh Gibson cards, having a blast.
As far as you know, they can be doing corporate flyers. So
yeah.
Right. So
designing their kids' birthday invitations.
Yeah, that's all been replaced by Canva anyways. You don't need a designer for that anymore.
Right.
Man, that's a great story, Eric.
So yeah, and then I got out of school and I tell my kids, I think I went on 30 interviews in the 2 months between the time I graduated and the time I got my job at the ad agency in Akron. So I would send out like 5 letters. This was before email and all that stuff. I'd send out five letters on Monday. The next Monday I'd call those people and say, hey, this is me. You want to talk to me? None of them really had jobs open, but a lot of them were just open to talking. And so it was a good experience. And I got to meet a lot of people. And finally there was a place that did have some openings and I got it. So, they became my design family for about the next 5 years. And both my bosses have since passed, and but those guys were instrumental in my career, and I got nothing but great things to say about them. And all the other great friends that I made there too. So it was a great experience. But I'm glad I'm freelancing now. I'm not looking back. This is a great life. Independence trumps everything. And I've been able to coach baseball and basketball and go to all my daughter's dance and cheer games. And the only times I would miss is if we had to split between my wife and me, and split the kids if they both had stuff going on. So, yeah, I mean, that's my life in a nutshell, I guess.
How old are your kids? I don't think I actually know.
I think my son is 24, 25.
Old enough to be out of the house.
I don't even know how old I am. And my daughter is 2 years behind him. So he works in Columbus. My daughter works now. Once they go back, her offices overlook center field at Jacobs Field. I know it's not Jacobs Field in reality, but it will forever be Jacobs Field.
It's forever, just like it's Safeco for us. It's Jacobs Field forever.
And Gund Arena down the street for the basketball. It's always going to be Gund Arena, even though I don't even know what they call it now. It's just, yeah. So yeah, they're both out of the house, and that's what's given me time to really push the sports art. When I got into college, I was able to start doing more because I had more time away from them, and my wife was tired of seeing me. So, I was come up to my studio at night and work. And then, now that they're gone, I really feel like I'm like 30 again. I mean, it's that I've gotten that busy like it used to be. I mean, I used to really bang out the work, and once I started coaching and helping them out with their little leagues and all that, I used to do all that volunteer stuff. I let some of the business go because I'd rather be coaching baseball and doing all that other stuff. It's a lot more fun. But I still hung on to a few of my clients that were worthwhile, and so it kept me afloat. I probably worked on my son's high school team for about really 5 or 6 years. Even after he was gone, I kept doing stuff for him. And now I'm still working for his travel organization. I do their website and their all their promotions and all their social media and stuff. So I'm still busy. I'm still doing a lot of volunteer work. So
have you knocked on the Indians' door yet? Say, hey, look, you need some help.
I knock on a lot of doors, but nobody seems to answer. So, I mean, maybe one of these days. You just got to keep at it, and I think something's going to break through one of these days. I hope so. I mean, it's if not, I'm still having fun doing what I'm doing. And I hope you guys like it. And I mean, I want you guys to enjoy the work as much as I do creating it. That's in the end all that really matters.
Well, speaking of your work, I do have your Diego say.
There he is.
Yep, that's right there. Diego's the key. I got that card right here. I pulled it out earlier so we can have it. I got to put it up on the wall. Everything's falling off, so I got to reorganize everything.
Yeah. Cool. Nope. That was a fun little piece too. I enjoyed doing that one. Cool.
So speaking of the Indians, I haven't been following baseball as much. Been too busy interviewing you guys and everything else. Where are we headed with the team name?
I don't know. I had a group on Instagram. You probably seen my posts that contacted me and just said, "Hey, you want to throw some work up and kind of promote us?" And it's the Cleveland Municipals, and they that would be the long name, but they'd call them the Munis for short. I saw some group that's promoting the Spiders.
Yes,
a guy commented on one of my Satchel Paige tweets about the Indians logo and in Satchel Paige, and that it was time to change the logo, and people, the indigenous people have been wanting to do that change for long enough time, and it wasn't the nicest tweet, I don't think, but I mean, it wasn't as bad as some of the tweets that I do see. But,
Twitter can be absolutely horrible place because you can be anonymous and no one knows who you
are. Right. You can be a bully and nobody knows, and you can't get your nose busted up for being a bully. So, so I do stay off Twitter for the most part, but this this campaign has made me focus a little more on Twitter. So I've gotten a little more active.
So you did all the work for the Cleveland Munis. So I know they followed me, and I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. So
I mean, I've taken my set of Indians posters that I did, and kind of reconfigured them into some banner art that has the Muni's logo on it. And I didn't do their initial uniform designs or any of their logo designs. I think their C is actually a silhouette of the old municipal stadium.
Right.
If you're familiar with that stadium, it was that was a nasty old cavern. If you got up underneath, you were looking at some steel girders that got in the way of some of the baseball view sometimes. So, but I remember some games up there. It was always fun.
I think I only remember about that stadium is the shore caught on fire during the game. That was all I remember. And
Yeah,
10-cent beer night,
Yeah, 10-cent beer night. Yeah, absolutely. I just did a post on that the other day, right, with Mike Hargrove. He was the first baseman for the Rangers that night. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Future Indians manager was first base on one of their worst historical nights ever, right? Had to forfeit the game because the drunk idiots were throwing stuff. So
I've noticed that it's a good time to ask about this. So you started doing kind of this day in baseball and doing historical posts. So how did that come about? And I used to do it myself. I just don't have the time to do it anymore. Do you do this in advance? Where you go, okay, I need to do about a week's amount of work, or do you do this day by day?
I wish I could do it in advance. There's a couple days where I'll noodle out 2 or 3 and get ahead, and I think, I'm going to stay ahead. It never works out. But it really has become a nice little thing away to do from the day job, right? It's time to decompress and get my iPad out and just take 15 minutes and do a baseball player. I mean, it takes me longer to do the research on the stuff that I post and the research for the tags and the links and all that longer than it does to take me to do the art. So
I need the hashtags and everything else that goes with it.
Yeah, it's
that blows me away. That blows me away.
Well, I got in trouble, I think, with Instagram about a month or so ago. They had blocked me, and I could post pictures, but I could not hashtag and I could not @tag anything. So you'll see, like around the time I did a Ricky Henderson one, a week around that point, I wasn't tagging anything because Instagram would not let me. And I'd talked to Third Dan because I was working on a collab with him. I said, hey, this is happening. Have you ever experienced any of that? He says, no, I think it happens to Donnie B. Why don't you hit him up on Instagram? So he said, yeah, there's a bunch of rules that you got to follow. And I kind of done my own research and figured, I'm probably tagging too many people. I know there's 30 hashtags you can use. I wasn't going over 30 hashtags, but I think I was really tagging way too many people. So I've pared that down a little bit. So I'm still tagging a lot of people, and it's probably going to get in trouble here again soon. But
There's been several times when I've reshared your posts, and I always make sure that what I reshare, that there's nothing that's going to be objectionable or anything like that. And I'm like, geez, he's tagging a lot of people here. And I'm like, you don't need to tag them or them.
Yeah.
Hey,
you never know what's going to stick, right?
Somebody's going to pick it up eventually and reshare it.
That's what I think. So I'm going to keep trying. I mean, if I get banned again, I'll get banned. And then, a couple weeks later, I'll get back on. So I'm not doing anything malicious. And maybe I'm a little spammy. I don't know. But
I've heard of Twitter jail. I've heard of Facebook jail. But you're the first person that's ever had Instagram jail.
Yeah. It's not fun because when you're trying to promote yourself and you can't, what are you going to do?
They just want you to spend money.
Yeah, I read that too. It's like they want to keep
it.
you down from promoting yourself, so you'll spend money on their ad program. So, which is another reason I hate social media, but it's a necessary evil.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
bad.
Yeah, but I'm back, so I'm trying to be better about it. But I mean, I'm sure my tags will start creeping up to the level I had before, and then I'll get in trouble. So
okay, well, we took you off on a bit of a tangent here, so let's bring it back into the card, and let's actually show you Josh Gibson card, because you told Josie Tellier that this card was special to you, and you were explaining it to
it
us.
Is. Yes, so I would.
Let me pull the card up. Hold on.
Okay.
I actually have your card right there.
Okay.
So why don't you talk us through your card?
Okay. So probably the first time I was introduced to Sean Gibson with Tad, I was probably geeking out, right? Like we all were, because I was really a fan of Josh Gibson. And I think I'd asked Sean, are there any other images that are out there that you guys have that maybe we haven't seen? Because, there's only a limited amount of photos of these old players. And he says, yeah, I've got a few. He said, nobody ever really shows Josh in a suit. And Josh is more than the Paul Bunyan style folk hero that maybe people view him as, just the home run hitting baseball hero. That's one of the first things Sean said is he was a great family man, great sense of humor. He likes to tell people more of the human side of Josh, and not so much the baseball side. So I thought to myself right then and there, one of these days I'm going to do an image with Josh in a suit. And I had pictured something totally different. And I was even wondering how I was going to do this, because the images that I saw with Josh in his suit were, this one, he had his arm around what I assume is his wife. Maybe it was another friend. I don't know. Sean will have to confirm that. But so I'm thinking, okay, I've got some friends that kind of have the build of Josh. Maybe I can shoot them in a suit and then Photoshop some Josh's head on or do something. Well, I never really got around to that. So this card came up and I thought, I'm going to do that. But like I said, Josh has got a girl on the left side of him. Well, it's the right side as you're looking at him. So I had to copy and paste the part of his suit and flop it and manipulate it and get it to look like it was a legitimate other side of his suit. But then I thought, what am I going to do? I wanted him to be holding a bat. So I found some stock images, some guy holding, it's either a toy bat or a wiffle bat. I'm not sure. Can't remember. I said, well, I kind of like the arm and I really kind of like the fact that his sleeve is rolled up. So I kind of photoshopped the pinstripes from Josh's suit in there to make it look like it was actually the suit. I took out the toy bat and I thought, okay, there's got to be an image of a Babe Ruth bat somewhere. So I don't know if this bat was actually used by Babe Ruth. It is a Babe Ruth model bat, and you can see it in a bigger print. Up by his head, it says like George Babe Ruth on the bat, but it had some tape on it around the handle. I thought the tape was kind of cool, so that's why I used that one. And I think I lengthened this tie a little bit too. It was probably a little up into his white shirt there, so I thought that looked kind of weird. So, but so that's the photograph part of that. I wanted, we've been doing a lot of work for the Gibson Foundation, a lot of promoting this, and it really started back in the wintertime. I think I did some pieces with Ron Say and Richie Allen, and so I wanted to incorporate some of those graphics into this piece. I've also been working with Greg Garfinkel out in California. He builds these beautiful trunks, these old time players. And he wanted me to do some stickers for him. So all the little logo icons you see are stickers I kind of mocked up for him so that he could put them on his Josh Gibson trunk. Like some of them, like the one from Cuba, the Champions Cuba. I can't remember what team that is. I saw a patch on a player's arm from a photo, so I kind of recreated that from there.
2 seconds. Tad's going to share the original photo here. He's going to pull it up. So.
Oh, okay, great.
So I believe you should be able to do that, Tad. Let me know if you can't.
Not yet.
There we go. That should do the trick now.
You did the same thing. You did the same thing with the Buck Leonard logo, the Buck Leonard Association logo. Frankenstein, right? Whose leg?
Yeah. So
you
right,
used Joe's leg.
My initial. I was trying to get some reference on that, and I used Joe DiMaggio's leg for that. But yeah, there's the picture.
So Sean shared
yeah.
us during a call that I think maybe not everybody knows that Josh's wife died during childbirth, I believe, and so this is a girlfriend, not his wife.
Okay.
Yeah, but such a great picture.
Yeah, it is. I love his expression. I mean, it's just, he's just happy.
Yep.
So yeah, I had to use it. You can see the short tie too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you would have to take that hand out of there anyway, so I can see why it makes sense to lengthen it.
Yeah. So.
All right, go back to the card now.
So yeah, I had to build all those logos. Really, I think I might have been able to pick up the Crawford's logo. And then the Homestead Grays one, I had a different logo in there, and I ended up changing that. It's something I ended up drawing the big G from a hat photograph, and then the font. I think the font there at the top is it's called Grand Gibson actually, and it's the Homestead Grays font. So I bought that not too long ago. I figured I'd use it somewhere. So with the basic design of the card, it's reminiscent of Topps from 1960, which is absolutely one of my favorite sets. I just love the design. And so my favorite player in one of my favorite sets, this card, I picked up the colors from that. And he is a famous Pittsburgh player, Mr. Clemente. You'll notice if you see the Clemente card, the blue field is on the left of the card with a black and white halftone image of Roberto in there. And then the yellow field with the name and the red and white alternating letters is reminiscent of his card as well. So you pick up the Pittsburgh aspect there, and this Clemente is a great player too. So, so it has a lot of meaning for me. Overall, the card. And I guess I built the little MVP trophy reminiscent of the Topps cards. I was working with Josh Trout and on some stuff that's going to be coming out probably soon. And I picked that up from that little project. So it's just kind of a mishmash of everything I've been doing.
You give us a hint that what you were working on with Josh, because I'm having Josh
I'm gonna let Josh talk
Drop
about that
one. Okay.
It's all Josh, and Josh's art is fantastic, and I love it, and he's a great guy. So it was a blast working with him. So
I think it's one of the great things about the collaboration with what we've done, and everyone's kind of being like, "Hey, how do you do this or that?" And hey, we should do something together.
Yep. Just I'll get contacted out of the blue. I just did those. You probably saw. Let me see if I can pull them out here. The Griffey Juniors I did with Blender of Zombie. After I worked with Third Dan, Chris contacted me, and he wanted to do a collab too. And he said we probably should do Junior. I'd love to do Buhner, but Junior's more marketable, right?
Exactly.
So I said, yeah, Buhner's cool, but Junior's just Junior. So I don't know if you can see any of these. This is one of the 6 that he did.
I'll stop sharing the screen so we can pull it up and you can get a better view of it there.
Yeah, it's kind of shiny. He cuts the holographic cards and puts them all together. I don't know how he does it on the tobacco size cards. I think I'd go nuts trying to cut all those little pieces out, but there's 6 of those. Eventually I'll have those will be available. And some other, my regular Griffies will be available too. That'll be down the road. So, with the Joshes, I'm going to drop those on July 1st. I've been putting out new cards the first of every month, and I really didn't want to rush putting out another card this month. I just put out some Johnny Vandermeer cards, and so I wanted to keep the drive alive through July, since that's when the vote's going to be. So the cards will drop for sale on July 1st. And these, if you remember these designs, I did posters early on for the Josh Gibson Foundation. I thought, let's just do 4 different box designs with those on them, use those to kind of keep it all going. So
sorry, I think I hear people outside my 160-year-old toilet and they go, "What's going on here?" It's 11 o'clock at night. All right, so I'm gonna bring Tim in, and Tim can sit and listen to the rest of the interview, and then we'll wrap everything up with you. We've actually filled up an hour already.
It's been an hour.
It's been an hour already. I know exactly.
See, I'm not a big talker, but sometimes I can ramble on about stuff like, I don't know, baseball and rock and roll and art. So I guess. All right.
That's fine. Yeah. Well, we'll welcome to Tim in here in a second here. Tim, we're just going to finish up the interview with Eric here, but there was no sense of just kind of leaving you in the waiting room as we're going, because we're still kind of going this way, but we're going to wrap things up.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. So, all right. So promote your card. It said, where can we find it? Is it a limited edition? Are you taking pre-sales on it? How's it working?
I believe there's only going to be 30 cards available. They will be available at tripleplaydesign.com. I'm playing with the idea of maybe 4 of those might be like a little metallic holographic kind. So those might be surprises that people might get if they order. 1 out of the 30. I will also have larger prints. It's on a 13 by 19 sheet, but the art is really 10 by 14. So it's not super huge, but those will be a pre-sale thing. So I'll take orders, and then however many people order them, that will be the print run. So that's about it.
All right, no problem, Eric.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. Promote your socials. I said that we had quite a few comments of people who said they enjoyed your card. David Garcia thinks you're going to win this week, so you've got at least one fan on there. So
thanks, David. Thank you. Appreciate that.
No way, man. No way.
Who knows? I mean, somebody may have friends on Twitter that's just gonna blow it away. So it's all good. It's not about me, right? It's about Josh and getting his name on the trophy. So that's all that really matters. I mean, yeah, I'd like to win, but I'm gonna be doing art regardless. So what the heck?
We're gonna be doing better than me, so we'll be all right.
That's all good.
All right, Eric.
Well, before you go, Eric, I just want to make the public statement and thank you for everything that you've done. Tell everybody the epitome of Eric was yesterday when I needed something done that I wasn't going to be able to do. I promised somebody I was going to be able to do for them, and I realized, crap, I can't do it myself. And so I reached out to the everybody else, the network, and said, hey, is there anybody that can help with this? And a few people responded. And then, immediately there was Eric with a text saying, hey, if you need that, I can help you out. I'm like, nope. I'm like, you sit this one out, brother. That's Eric, man. He's
all
always
good, man.
It's all I appreciate it so much, man.
Thanks, Ted. I appreciate you and everything you do for this. I know you're busting your butt every day for all of us, so you're making it happen. Thank you.
Ditto.
All right, Eric, thanks for coming on. The one question I was going to ask you before you go is, have you made it up to Canton yet for the Hall of Fame?
To actually see the museum?
See the museum, because you said you hadn't done that yet.
Yeah, not since what? I told you my dad took me, last time was probably about when did the Seahawks and the Buccaneers come in? Was that about 79?
Like 1977.
78 or 77. That's the last time I was there. I was probably 10 years old.
Right.
And I went, and since I've moved down here 30 years ago, no, I have not been there yet. Just the parades.
I'm gonna come visit you. I'm gonna drag you down there so we can go see.
I'd love to go. I mean, they're renovating the stadium and they're building hotels all around it. It's amazing. So yeah, I just never take the time to go.
Fair enough.
I don't think my wife's interested.
It's like the same thing up here in Edinburgh. Like I said, I've seen the castle so many times. It's just another castle for me. And it's only when people come to visit. Like, oh yeah, the castle's really cool. And it's literally like 10 minutes away from my house.
Yeah. I drive by it quite often, but haven't been in it for a long time.
All right.
So, all right. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. I love coming on.
All right, man. We'll have you on again, I'm sure. It's real soon.
All right. Sounds good. How do I get out of here? Do I press minus or how do I do that? I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I'm technologically challenged.
Just have to.
All right, guys.
I'm gonna bow out too, because I got to go get ready for my daughter's graduation. But great talking with you, Tim. Thanks for everything you're doing too, man. I've just crossing paths with you 2 times now on Webcasts. How are you doing? You're muted.
All right. Well, good to see you guys. Good to see you, Tim. Good luck with the card and everything. And see you guys.
Tim, you're muted, man.
Yeah, exactly. You're muted still.
There we go. Hey. There we go. I'm doing good, man. Card came out yesterday and I'm really surprised by the amount of response I've gotten. I've been pushing it a little bit, but just trying to get people to interact overall. So it's been well. It's going well.
Cool.
Right on. All right, fellas. Well, Tim, thanks for everything you're doing. Bubba,
Hey,
as
thank
always,
you,
thanks
man.
for everything you're doing.
Of course, anytime.
Yeah, we'll come back for an update here in another week or so.
Yeah, I think we only have one person next week. It's my week where I drop my card. It's like all booked up. I got stacked lineup. I got like a Josh. I got.
They let you.
It's not even fair.
I didn't realize they let you into the competition. I thought
Heavy
we had
J
higher
said he was worried he was gonna be last, so I said, "All right, I'll do one." So that someone come in last place. He was threatening to rap. I was like, not gonna let that happen.
All right, guys, have fun.
All right, man.
Cool, Tim. How you doing tonight?
I'm good,
Today it's
Jason. How are
night for
you,
me,
man?
so it's 11 o'clock at night here. So
That's what I was gonna say. It must be getting late over there. So thanks for staying up late.
this is pretty normal. When we were doing the original campaign, I think I was finishing at 2 o'clock in the morning, and so
Wow.
I mean, you know what? It was a lot of fun. It was a good way to connect with people and chat about baseball, and so it was like not a bother for me at all. Yeah, 11 o'clock's early for me. It's not a big deal.
Good deal. Yeah, nothing better than talking baseball anyway. So
exactly,
Fine,
and
yeah.
the thing is I actually talk to people who actually really know the sport over in the UK. It's still kind of a fairly new one, so you've kind of had a lot of people really follow the last 2 or 3 years with like the London series, and obviously you have some old timers here. But when you talk like junk wax era cards, everyone's like, "What? Huh?"
Right,
I have
right.
no idea what you're talking about here.
Right.
Like I said, is that is that Aaron Judge? Is that a junk? No.
What is he a judge of? Yeah, what does he judge? So
Tim, where are you based, and can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm in Florida. I'm in Gainesville, Florida, and I got a son. I'm married. I love baseball. Lifelong baseball fan. Not a very good baseball player, but I think that's true for a lot of us. But always loved the game. Always collected cards. Got away from it, but then as my son's gotten older, he's 11 now. As he's gotten older, we've gotten back into cards and how much different they are than the mid 80s when I was doing it. And now, I started seeing people cutting up cards, and I thought, well, I've got a box of old cards. I can do that. I've got 15 Billy Joe Robideaus that nobody wants or whatever. Well, you see what happens there. So I started with guys like that, messing around before I decided, all right, I'm going to cut up a Tatis, or I'm going to, jump into something where it may actually retain some value. Nobody cares if you cut up an old 86 garbage card.
No one's missing a Corey Snyder card.
Right. Right. Exactly. Gary Pettis. Has anybody made a Gary Pettis card yet? So
funny enough, I actually have a guy that did make a Gary Pettis. He's a big Angels fan over here, and so I got him doing the card art. So he's got all the junk era stuff too. I think he made a whole team set. So out of 87 tops.
That's awesome. Nice.
So what's your day job?
Honestly, right now I don't have one. Since COVID, I lost my job. I got cut, and that's been a year ago now. And then sitting at home, and while my son's going homeschool and helping take care of him, it was not an opportune time for me to go find a job. And just the way things are going in my life right now, I'm just doing this, and luckily I'm able to do that and still get by. This isn't paying the bills or anything, but it's still an outlet for my energy and something creative for me to do and pass the time and make me feel like I'm helping, even if it's not financially doing much.
I can relate to that. I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I've been doing that for 3 years now. So it's I can be like, all right, yeah, I need something to do. It's 8 o'clock at night, and the kids are down, and I need something to do for some sort of outlet.
Yep. When he was in school and my wife was, she's at home working during that time, I'll just go in the back, and I can't, watch TV all day or anything. So then I'm flipping through the old cards, and that's when you start coming, okay, well, fine. I've got a razor blade. Let's see what happens here, and so that's how I got to where I'm at. It's then this opportunity. I mean, this Josh Gibson opportunity, as soon as I saw it, I jumped on that. It was just too good to pass up,
So your parents kept all your cards. You just have this random phone call to go, hey, so in the attic, my card's still up there. That Sammy Sosa rookie card didn't turn out to be worth $1,000 anymore.
I was sure those Mike Greenwells were really going to pay off.
Mike Greenwell, yeah.
I have a page in my binder. It's Eric Davis and Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire. I was like, this is it. I don't have to go to college. I've got my life is set. These 9 cards. you guys, you do whatever. I'm good. When I'm 50, I'll sell these. I'll be a millionaire. Everything's fine. It didn't turn out, so.
And I had all my stuff shipped over, and I was going through all my cards in the binders, and I had 50 Jody Reed cards. Like, that didn't work out at all.
Yeah, and you wonder who that guy's going to be right now. Everybody's all in on this guy or that guy, and in 5 years, who's it going to be? So it's interesting still. But it's funny to me. As a kid collecting cards, it was always, oh, cards. Oh, this guy's great. I love this guy. He plays on my favorite team, or he used to, or whatever the case was. And now everybody talks so much, and I don't know if it's just because I'm an adult, but it's so much, investing in cards and this guy, and like. For me, that's just hard to get into. I still like it. Oh man, this guy might not be that great, but what a cool picture of him, and stuff like that. I still appreciate the card for just being a card,
I think a lot of it has to do with just actually growing up, because again, it was easy for us to collect cards. There was 792 cards, and you
Right.
got the set, and that was it. And
Right.
all right, and then you're like, all right, I can collect my favorite players. It was fairly inexpensive till Upper Deck came out, and then it just raised the bar for everybody.
Right.
Whereas now, it's like, okay, I'm gonna buy a box of cards. It's gonna cost me $200.
Yeah.
What's gonna get the most value out of it?
Yeah, and I mean that's not to say that I don't get excited when I open that numbered Mike Trout or that short print or something, even if it's not who I collect. It's like, wow, look at this great card. But I still do, appreciate cards, like I said, just for being cards. One of my favorite cards is an old Sean Dunston card of him holding up his kid and giving him a kiss. I'm like, that's such a cool card. It's a random card. It has no value, but to me, it's like, he's in the dugout with his son, and it's just a cool image. It's a cool card that, without there being a baseball card of it, I don't know if anybody would ever see it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's those oddities that you used to get kind of in the 90s, and they were trying to be different and stuff like that there, and it made it more interesting, because I've gone back and grabbed quite a few cards. Let's see if I can. Yes, it's right here. I think what's my personal favorite, which I missed, is my Steve Lake with a parrot.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
how did I miss that card? That card is awesome. And everyone's like, you're so weird. It's like who gets a parrot on their shoulder? And the whole studio series I never collected. I've gone back and started picking those up because it's just bad school book photos.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's like glamour shots at the mall or whatever. It's bad. It's the Mitch Williams is the one that I saw most recently. He's got his white headband on. He's sitting there. It's hilarious. It's so 80s and 90s.
It is. I was working on a series over December, because after interviewing everybody, everyone was like, I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to do my own card art. It was terrible. And I don't have the time to do it anymore. But I was working on a series, and I might have to go pick that up now. So, but anyways, we're not about here. We're about me. So we find a lot of card artists got inspired by Project 2020. Was that the case for you, or is it seeing people actually cut up some cards?
It was more honestly seeing people cut up some cards, because that's really more the avenue that I can express myself artistically, I guess, if you want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think I have a lot of talent for drawing and painting and things of that. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's not what comes to mind for me. So like I said, the easiest thing was to pick some stuff up, start cutting stuff, and then, I could put it on this. One of the first cards I made actually was a friend of mine whose son plays high school football, and he had been distributing cards of his son out, just, throwing them in packages when people would get cards and stuff like that. And I took one and I cut it up, and I put it against the back of a playing card that was all gold, because I didn't have any other paper, but I thought, hey, that's a cool idea. And he loved it. He thought it was the coolest thing ever. And it wound up being the first card I sold. And from there I was like, well, maybe I should try this, and that's how I kind of started cutting up more cards and getting to opening up an Etsy shop now and all kinds of weird stuff I never thought I'd do.
It evolves that way, doesn't it? You're kind of like, oh, right, there's actually people interested in this.
Yeah. I 2 cards got bought today, and I was like, wow, okay, every time anybody gives a compliment even to my cards, I'm like, that's amazing. I'm so glad that you took the time to say I like that, because for me that's as great as somebody buying a card. For me, it makes me feel like what I'm doing has some value to somebody other than just a relief for me of letting out some stress and something to pass the time.
So do you have a favorite card year you like to work with?
I mean,
because we got a lot of people who used to work with 86 Tops, because it has kind of that iconic font that everyone likes to go in there, and then I've seen everyone kind of move away from that now. So
what I found, the 86 Tops and this year's Heritage, or the 72, if you want to cut up a 72, but those are great because the way they're framed, and you can take out what you want in the middle. You've still got the outer border in there. Everything's great. You can build in depth. You can do whatever you want, So I actually really enjoy cutting up the 86s and the heritage cards, but I have to try to not do them exclusively. Otherwise I feel like everything would look like that,
Mhm.
I did a Tim Anderson 86. I did a Kirby Puckett 86. And then I was like, I don't want to just put out all these 86 cards, so I've got to do something else. So that's what I thought of, doing some more heritage. But, sometimes you have an idea and it doesn't come together. I've been thinking of this Tatis card I want to make, and I cut them out, and it's just, I put it together like dry and laid it out, and just doesn't look right. It's just not working yet. So I got to think of something else,
Oh, that's really cool. I was saying, so did you grow up in Florida as well?
Yeah, I did actually.
So who was your team then? Like I said, because the
Oh.
Marlins weren't around yet.
No, and I'm in North Florida, and I grew up in the age of TBS, so I'm Dale Murphy and the Braves, for life. Dale Murphy's my all-time favorite player, without a doubt, So they were on every day, 7:05 p.m. Turn it on everywhere in the country. You got to see every Braves game. Back when you could only see, a game or two a week, when it was on the weekends with Joe Garagiola or whatever, So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's how, watching This Week in Baseball and all that great stuff. But that's how I really fell in love with the game, was watching it almost nightly on there and watching TBS. So
Absolutely. I know a lot of people were a Braves fan, and kind of the same time you guys signed Maddox, and everything kind of really took off from there.
Yeah. Yes. The 80s, while Dale was there, it was great. It was fun. He was an MVP. He was awesome. They had some lean years with, well over 100 losses. So when the three core, the pitching started kicking in, it was those 90s, and all those years with Bobby Cox were just unbelievable. I know there's only one title in there, but 14 years division titles in a row is
It's a dynasty. Yeah, it's absolutely a dynasty.
You don't always win the World Series, and they may have won that one year when it was canceled due to the strike and all that, but you never know. But unbelievable anyway. They were a lot of fun to watch.
See, I think that's actually a fun thing, looking back on those cards from the late or the early 90s, and it was Steve Avery that was going to be the ace.
Yeah, and he was great for 3 or 4 years, and then I guess he got hurt and just kind of fell off. And then Maddox, I mean, gosh, that guy, watching him pitch was. He's still my favorite pitcher to watch of all time, because of my generation. There's other guys who can throw harder. DeGrom's a great guy to watch and everything, but the way Maddox just controlled a game and wouldn't waste a pitch. He's not going outside on 0-2. He's going to strike you out right now if he wants, or he's going to get you to most likely ground a ball, 6-hopper to second base, and you're going to be out. So watching him pitch for me was just unbelievable. It was must-see TV every time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I struggle to watch games these days because it's all about throwing 100-mile-per-hour heaters and maybe throwing 6 innings on a good day. So
right. And then it's funny. And then Rizzo comes in and he strikes out Freddie Freeman, and it shows you that it's placement and location and change of pace. I mean, and honestly, you throw that at Freddie Freeman all the time, he's going to butcher it. But just the back and forth of it. It makes it difficult on him. If you're going to throw 100 and then you're going to drop somebody in who's throwing a 78-mile-an-hour curveball, they're going to have a hard time figuring that out. And honestly, I'm a big college baseball fan, and that's one of the reasons I like it. Is college baseball for me right now is played more like this sport that I grew up watching with Vince Coleman and the guys in St. Louis who would steal bases and run and hit and run and balls and play and action and all that kind of stuff. I still love the majors, but I also love college baseball for that reason.
So who's your team in college then?
The Gators. I'm in Gainesville, which is where the university is. So,
I didn't want to make the assumption, but you never know.
Gator grad, born and raised here, went and graduated from UF and had season tickets for the Gators. Have seen all kinds of amazing guys come through, Pete Alonso, but even before that, Mike Stanley way back in the 80s, and just Brad Wilkerson, and just some unbelievable. And that's just from our team. Trey Turner came here one year in a regional and played with NC State when he was a freshman, and I think he had like 9 hits in 3 games or something. It was unbelievable.
Now, are they still playing with metal bats in college? I actually don't know.
Yeah, they are. They've deadened them from back in the what they call like the bomb era, basically, where guys were just, it was 17-15, but now it's played much more like a regular game. It's not those high scoring. They're actually in super regionals right now. They started today. So after this weekend, they'll move to Omaha for the World Series, the final 8. Unfortunately, the Gators did not make it already. They've been eliminated, but hey, that's all right. It happens. Yeah.
My team got eliminated too, so I can't say much either. I'm an Oregon State guy, so.
You're a Florida State guy?
No, Oregon State.
Oregon State, okay.
Yeah, I'm originally from Seattle. I went to Oregon State, or I had dreams of walking on, and then had a nice chat with the coach, and he set me in the right place.
They are a powerhouse out there. They are as good as it gets out on the West Coast right now. They unbelievable.
You know what? They weren't when I went to school. Let's put it that way. It was not a powerhouse there.
That's funny.
That happened many years past there, and yeah, so it's hard enough to get MLB games out here. College games are even worse to get a hold of. So
yeah, I would imagine that's tough. So I actually listened to one of your podcasts the other day, and there's a league in Scotland, and I guess you guys played developmental in the first few innings or something.
Yes, so it's just started this year. So there's been in baseball here since we can track it back till the 30s. We can track it back to World War II and the American Air Force bases here. There's been the current team in Edinburgh has been in existence since '86. I got involved in 2003, where I came in thinking, oh, there's baseball here. Like maybe I can help out. Oh, it's amateur league. I can play.
Yeah, even better.
So I went from player to manager to league president, and then I retired in 2017. So there is a league. It's like playing cricket in the States. It exists. You just have to look for it.
Right.
It's made up of a lot of expats who used to play. Every once in a while we get somebody that has like minor league experience. We had one guy who was like Division II, placed third in NAI ERA.
Oh wow.
So
those guys over there aren't ready for that.
No, not at all. Like he came to me thinking, again, like my perception is like it's gonna be a really high level of baseball, and it's about the level of like high school. And he's just like, I just want to play. Like I'll play right field. And like you throw 80. Like, you're not gonna have to worry about it. You're gonna pitch every day. And and literally it's a league, a bunch of guys that you literally have guys who've gone to like New York, or everyone goes to Orlando because that's where Disney World is. And so the Rays have a huge fan base out here because that's where all the parents go to bring their kids, and they come back and they go, I went to a game, I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I want to play. And so you get people probably starting in the mid-20s to start playing baseball, and so you usually get about 5 to 10 years out of them like that.
That's awesome.
You just try to get them up to speed as much as you can. So you have guys that who have played at a high level, and then you just try to get everyone up to speed. I mean, you try to train once a week, and then a game on a Sunday. So it's really come along here.
The learning curves has got to be just the basic rules. Okay, people can get those, but when you start getting the things like balks and that must be much more difficult for people. Why was that not allowed? That's got to be challenging.
We try to turn a blind eye to those things because it's hard enough to find anyone that can pitch. Usually anyone that pitches is like an expat and has thrown the ball there, and now we actually have enough people around that can actually teach pitching out there. So it's slowly evolved, but you usually get about 16 guys per team, and you usually get about 8 guys to show up for a game, sometimes less.
So work.
I mean, I've had games where I pitched for both teams, so it just kind of happens that way. You just try to get the game.
That's awesome.
And it's such a niche thing over here. There's probably about 2,000 people in all of the UK that play. So it's kind of that bonding experience of everyone that kind of like really enjoys baseball and does that. So it was a lot of fun. I really miss playing, but I got 2 kids. I just don't have time anymore.
That's wow. That's really cool. Grow the game, and with the Olympics coming up, maybe that'll help add a little more interest and, fuel to the fire and see where it goes.
Yeah, so it's getting bigger and bigger. There's a European league that started up, and do you remember Luis Soho? He used to play for the Yankees and the Mariners. You probably cut a few of his cards. He's the president of the league. So there's a team in the UK. They're based in Spain for this year, and they are the British Knights. There is a team in Italy, Germany, Spain, France, and maybe Portugal, and they're trying to start up a European Super League. And most of it made up of Dominican players, but you know, it's you got to start somewhere, and so people are pretty excited for this. We had the London series 2 years ago, and that gained a lot of interest, and obviously was canceled last year. So we're fingers crossed we bring some more later on and grow the game there. But yeah, it's you head to mainland Europe, it's much bigger. Italy has, you know, stadiums that hold, you know, 12 to 16,000. You know, the Netherlands have, you know, stadiums that are big there. So it's just bigger on the continent than it is in the UK. So.
Well, that's cool, though. That's really that's neat to be involved in something like that and help grow the game at a grassroots level, because, you know, 50, 100 years from now, who knows? People are going to look back and go, well, he was the president of the league that, you know, so we'll see how that plays.
Yes. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to kind of say we've done it there. So it's been a labor of love, and, you know, all the things I really enjoy doing. So
that's awesome. Well, cool.
But enough about me. This is your show. Sorry. Let's talk about your card here, because we got about 10 minutes before the next guest comes on. Let me see. I'll pull your card up here because I do have your card, and you can tell us about your card. Oops. There we go. But yeah, no, it's the guys are. Let's see, share the screen. There we go. And done. All right. So yeah, tell us about your card and how you decided to choose the images and design you did.
Well, I wanted to use image from both the Grays and the Crawfords, because he spent, you know, meaningful time with both organizations, and there were photos readily available. I didn't have really a lot of photos from Mexico or Puerto Rico or anything like that where he was in uniform. So I wanted to use those, and you know, speaking of heritage cards, when I pulled out that most valuable player award heritage card, and then this came about, I thought, well, that's a perfect marriage between the two. Somehow I've got to figure that out. And, you know, what's funny is the first couple of weeks it came out, nobody had done a card like that. And I was like, awesome. Nobody's thought of my idea. And then in like the week before my card came out, there were like 2 or 3 different ones with that same exact, you know, card design base for it. But that's fine. Everybody has a different idea. It was just funny that all of a sudden they all came out at the same time, you know. So I wanted multiple images, and that background is actually, it's a gold glitter paper, and then that's an image of him laid over the top of it. It's kind of hard, you can't tell in the photographs. On Twitter there's a video, and you can tell more how it sparkles, and so that's that overlay there. And then I just had a little extra room on the side, so I threw in that old MVP from a Pedro Guerrero card.
I was going to ask about how you got the gold glitter on there. So it's just the paper that you're using on top of that there.
Yeah, it's what it is it's gold glitter paper, and then I transfer the image onto like a not an acetate, but like a plastic sheeting that I then, since it's clear and it's a black and white image, a lot of it passes through because it's in like a grayscale or whatever. And so then when I put that down, the gold can still shine through. I actually did it initially on a Tim Anderson card on the back of that, and I was like, wow, this came out really, really well. And I had done it the week or two before I was working on this card. I was like, I'm going to use that somehow. And so that's how I got to doing that idea. And I like having the 2 images of him instead of just one of him playing. And then I don't know if you have the image of the back on there accessible at all or not, but there's a quote on the back that I thought, you know, it's you might look at it in passing and think, oh, that's interesting, or that's nonsensical or whatever. But to me, it spoke to him as a person and not just as a baseball player. And, you know, we all spend a lot of time talking about him as a baseball player, and that's very important. And his numbers, you know, those are certainly etched in history and all those things. But I wanted to also incorporate him as a person a little bit too. And so I used that quote about him being a super nice person, and then also how much he enjoyed eating ice cream. And there's a picture of him. Actually, I have the card here if you don't have it.
Yeah, I was just looking on Instagram for it real quick. I was just trying to do it slyly to see if I can see the back of the card.
So there's a quote, and then that's him. That's a picture of him on the beach, I believe, either in Mexico or Puerto Rico. And actually in the image next to him is Satchel Paige, but I had to crop it out. But he just has this glowing smile where it just looks like he's genuinely at that moment on the beach, just really, really happy. And I noticed that a lot of the pictures that I see of him playing baseball, between the lines, he's got that game face on, you know, which high level competitors do, you know. But I just thought it was interesting to have both sides of him as, you know, the ball player and a little bit as the person. Because honestly, I don't really know that much about him as a man. You know, I know that his, you know, the mother of his children passed away. I know that he raised his kids on his own. He died young. But I wanted to try to incorporate some of that too, so that that doesn't get lost, that this isn't just a mythical character that we think of, because he is. Some of his stories are legendary and larger than life, but he was just a regular guy who liked going to the beach and eating ice cream too, you know? So
it's interesting. I didn't know about the ice cream, because that's, Buck Leonard was a big fan of ice cream. And when we were talking to Brian about that, he was like, oh yeah, like Buck loved his ice cream. So I didn't realize that was the same with Josh.
yeah, that's according to Ted Page. The quote here is, now Josh, nobody could criticize his personality. Next to hitting, he liked eating ice cream more than anything in the world. So,
Right, okay.
I mean, you know,
I'm going to steal that and use it for my card.
it's on that, you know, it's on all that information page they have. I was going through all those quotes. And I thought about using the Reggie Jackson one about how, hey, there couldn't be a better person to name it after, since he was, you know, 73 MVP and all that. But like I said, I just wanted that both sides of the person. So that's how I got to where I got, you know?
No, it's been interesting to hear how everyone came to what it was, because I think before it was like, okay, I kind of done a card. It looks good like this, like that. I think a lot of the artists have really taken the time to think this one out and just go, okay, it's, you know, it's Josh, the legend. It's Josh, the man, and all that. And I think it comes through on everyone's cards.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these cards have just been unbelievable. I mean, for every week, everyone I see, I'm like, what am I doing in this contest? You know, why is my card going to be seen next to these cards? But, you know, other than the goal of trying to help and convince the writers to change the name and put his name on here, one of the biggest takeaways, especially for me, has just been the community that Tad has helped create, and that everybody involved in this, all these artists have helped create, and how nice everybody's been. Everybody has just the most complimentary things to say. And I don't feel like it's, you know, just throwing a compliment your way to make you feel good. I honestly feel like people are engaging and like what people are doing. So it's been surprising and rewarding for me in that account as well, you know.
And whose cards do you like so far? You've seen, there's a too many list.
I'm not super good at remembering who does which ones, but I can remember which list. So the card that came out this morning, that you were just talking to Eric, was that his name? That thing is.
Science, yeah.
I mean, that's just unbelievable. Like, okay, take my money. Like, that card is unbelievable, you know. The leather card, I really like the unique style of doing a card on leather. I thought that was really, really cool. The wood border 80, like the 87 card or whatever that was.
Yep. Yeah.
And then the gentleman from France, his card with the booklet and the packet and all the technology involved in that. Oh man, that stuff. That was just, you know, stuff like that. And I go, I got some glue. You know?
So I can't think of the guy's France name. It escapes me in the moment. He's actually working with French baseball to produce the first French baseball cards out.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, they picked a great guy to have him help, because his stuff is unbelievable. I've seen some Acuñas he's done and some other stuff, and it's just fabulous looking stuff, you know. So good for him. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I saw it the other day and I was just like, oh, that's really cool, because there's a couple guys in the UK, but Tim Godden, who I've met, is a really nice guy. He focuses on World War I baseball players, so there's not much of a market over here. Right.
Yeah. He sends a lot of things overseas, I would imagine.
He does send a lot of things overseas there. So, but yeah, it's good fun. It's nice to see everyone's work and really kind of appreciate it, and really get a chance to talk to everybody to, you know, what makes them tick. Because again, it's become a community and everyone's so accessible by social media, but to actually put a face to the Instagram handle and go, oh, all right, okay, now I know everything.
Now I know who that person is. Yeah.
Yeah, I had that a lot with the previous interviews where everyone's like, "Oh, I didn't know we have a lot in common, and I might drop this guy a message or that." And
right.
So that's been a really nice thing about the community.
Yeah, I'm pretty new to Instagram. I'm much more comfortable with Twitter, but I'm trying. You know, I'm trying to forge through on Instagram. We'll see how that ends out. You know.
How are you enjoying with Twitter? Are you finding that just gets the engagement better? Are you able to find the right audience or?
Well, I had a personal account for a long time on Twitter, and so it was just, I understand the mechanisms. I understand how to draw more attention easier. So I've been able to use that. Although my followers are probably the same or roughly the same, I just feel that engagement, people are more willing, it seems like, and able to respond in Instagram. So often, I mean, on Twitter, so often on Instagram, I think people watch a video and scroll past it, and they may enjoy it, but maybe they'll like it, but they may not. But so much of Twitter is people want to fight with you anyway, that they're more willing to type something out, positive or negative.
Cool. All right. We're getting low on time. And
awesome.
But Daniel's not here yet, so hopefully he'll get us. But what are you working on now, and where can people find your work?
Well, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Hit by Pitch Cards, all one word. And then also that's the name of the Etsy shop. And that's where I'm posting my stuff now. I haven't listed the Josh Gibson card yet. I'm going to print the certificate of authenticity and figure out exactly where we're going to go with that. I've got a Pete Alonso card I want to work on, and a Tatis card that I'm looking at doing. Maybe something with Junior, Ronald Acuna Jr. as well in there. So we'll see. Like I said, sometimes I start cutting something out. I cut a guy out, I lay it down, and I'm like, well, that doesn't work. That's what happened with the Tatis. It didn't work, and I decided I'd make this Marcus Stroman instead. It's a Duke crossover Marcus Stroman card. I do a lot of that where I incorporate their college, logos and stuff like that, and then their current team for guys who played in college. So,
have you run across any problems with the universities noticing these things going? Because we know a one-on-one card can be done, but I don't think they like it.
Yeah, I haven't, but I'm probably not on anybody's radar. I'm pretty small fish in a big pond, but one day that may happen, and I honestly had concerns about that with the Stroman because of what I put on the back. The other stuff is all cut card, but the other thing was an image I printed, so I was a little more concerned with that. But
but you're okay for a one-of-one piece of art. You're all right. So
okay, we'll see. Then there we go. That's it. I'm good. We're all good.
It's when you start printing those things out, that's when you run into problems.
Yeah, luckily both my brothers are lawyers, so we'll see. I don't think they're able to do copyright law, but they'll figure it out if I make them. But yeah, I posted the Marcus Stroman card earlier today, and to my surprise, he liked the tweet, so that was pretty cool. I hadn't had any of the athletes actually respond about a card I'd made, so I thought that was pretty neat.
So you have to get it to him somehow. They said if you liked it, right. He's on the radar. I think I said that.
Yeah, no. Well, some of those guys, like, Stroman's so active and engaging, and he talks to people all the time on there. So I wasn't surprised that he did it, but it was just, again, nice validation when somebody says they like something that you did, so It was cool.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that's nice about Twitter is it's really easy for those guys to say like it and go, all right, yeah, they liked it. You get all excited because like, yes, someone's famous has liked my stuff.
Yeah, and maybe that's why I'm a little gun shy on the Instagram. I'm trying making some reels and stuff like that on Instagram, and I've had some success there, but it's tough trying to draw people into what you're doing and find what you do more interesting, especially when I'm scrolling through and I find stuff honestly maybe more interesting than what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I think, well, man, that's really cool. I saw a guy yesterday who made a Mike Trout card with lights in it, which obviously was something I was thinking about doing. Yeah, he put it in the one touch, I was like, I've been thinking about that. It's so cool. A couple little LED lights, and he had them changing colors. I was like,
oh, wow. All right, I'm gonna have to go track that card down.
Yeah, I don't know where, I don't remember who it was, but it was on Instagram. He was like, this is the coolest card I've ever made. I'm thinking, well, yeah, it is, man. That is awesome, So if he can condense it all together and get the battery pack and everything into a nice thick one touch, he might have something there. Everybody was so excited about Top Shot and all the NFTs and all that stuff. If you can light up your own, hey, why not?
Yeah, exactly. And you can get those really cool black one touches, so you really make it pop.
Yeah, and hide all the wiring and all that. So I don't know, maybe that's something I'll do. I don't know anything about electricity or solar power or battery power, but that's been the whole thing, is I haven't really known anything about any of this. So learning as we go,
Cool. All right, Tim, I'm gonna let you go, and I want to thank you for coming on the show. It was lovely getting to chat with you there, and I wish you the best of luck on the card art competition. Let everyone give you one more shout where everyone find you on social media, and then we can call it a night.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jason. I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, everything for me, my handle is